Wait, sorry, I need to see. Matty, there we go.
So I grew up in a very small New England town called Carver. And what I loved most about growing up in this town was the sense of community that it bestowed on people. It was this great little town. Every year it had these civic events that I just loved. We had the Fireman's Clam Bake and Old Home Day. We had the Cranberry Festival and 4th of July Parade, just to name a few. And I just have the fondest memories of like hanging out with my friends and riding bikes and having like free range of this town. And it was a great place to be a kid. But as I got a little older, I wanted a little change in my life. I ended up moving to Los Angeles and met my wife, Valerie, and eventually we had our daughter, Rain. And even though Los Angeles and Carver are completely different places, I wanted Rain to have the same types of experiences and feel that same sense of community that I had when I was growing up. So I started trying to find all these events that reminded me of the things that I used to do when I was a kid. But I very quickly learned that there are no original ideas in a city with this many people in it. So if you want to go apple picking or to a pumpkin patch or to a food festival, there's 4 million other people here that have that same idea, and they're all going to be there. And so everywhere we went was just flooded with people. And Rain uses a wheelchair to get around, and it can be really difficult to navigate through crowds of that size. And I get kind of anxious in big crowds, so it was never the vibe that I really wanted, but I kept trying. We kept going to these things because I wanted her to have these experiences. And then one day, a couple of years ago, one of her school friends invited her to a pie baking competition that she was participating in, and I was like, this is perfect. It's a pie baking competition for 8-year-olds. Like, what could be more small town than this? And so I show up, and I'm immediately annoyed because it's actually part of a much bigger event called LA Pie Fest. And I can, as I approach, I can tell that it is easily the largest gathering of people on earth for a pie baking competition. And it just looks completely unorganized. There are people everywhere. So my wife, Valerie, goes one way. She's looking for Rain's friend. And Rain and I decide we're going to push through this crowd, and we're going to get some pie. So each attendee gets 2 tickets, and each ticket is supposed to be good for 1 slice of pie. But I can tell that this system has been abandoned a long time ago. And the people that are distributing the pie are actually the contestants, and they have zero interest in enforcing pie distribution rules. And because of this, people are just walking away with all the pie they can carry. And as a result, Pie Fest is rapidly running out of pie, and the crowd senses it. And so every time a new pie is brought out, it's just set upon by like this mob of pie-grabbing maniacs, and it's decimated within like 10 seconds. It's like complete and utter chaos. There's no rules. It's like I'm watching civilization crumble right before my eyes. And we've been trying to get a piece of pie for like 45 minutes by this point, and we're coming up empty, and I'm ready to quit. And Rain says, but Dad, come on, we can't leave without getting 1 slice of pie. And one of the pie bakers hears her say that, and he says to me, he says, hey, I'm going to be bringing out a fresh pie in a few minutes. Just wait here, and I'll make sure you guys get a piece. And he like gives us a little wink. So we're feeling pretty good, and we're trying to act casual. And we see him coming, and he's got a fresh pie, and we're getting excited. We're like, we're going to get some fucking pie, man. And he puts the pie down in front of us, and we are immediately hit from behind by this like wave of people that are desperate for this pie. And Rain is almost knocked out of her wheelchair, and grown adults are trying to step over my 8-year-old daughter in a wheelchair in an effort to beat us to what is apparently the last pie on earth. And I start to get panicked, and I'm trying to like create room, and I'm like shoving people with my arms, and I'm like, I just start yelling. I'm like, it's pie, it's fucking pie, people. And it doesn't do anything except alert other people that there's a pie over here. And it's like chaos. And then all of a sudden it just ends, and the crowd disperses, and it's just me and Rain and this stunned looking pie baker with an empty pie plate in his hand. And he just says, I'm so sorry, I tried to save a piece, but there were just too many of them. And he like scrapes off these crumbs onto a plate for us. And I'm like, great. And so we leave, and I'm feeling pretty disappointed by the whole thing. And we fight our way back to the crowd, and we find Valerie. And she's there with Rain's friend. And Rain's friend has saved her a slice of the pie that she made for her contest. And it's this picturesque, perfect piece of lemon meringue. And she gives it to Rain, and they're sharing it, and they're eating, and they're giggling. And as I'm watching them do this, I realize that I've been going about all of this all wrong. I've been so focused on trying to get to these events when I should have been focused on making better connections with the people in our lives. So I changed the way I started doing everything. Instead of going to events, I tried to get to know my neighbors better, and I tried to make better connections with the families of Rain's friends from school. And it changed the way that I felt about community in Los Angeles. So now, instead of going to a concert or a street fair or a food festival, we go to our neighborhood's jam session where all the kids get together and they give the parents a concert from our neighbor's porch. Or we shut down the street and we have a block party and we barbecue and the kids can have free range. And this year, I'm going to have a pie baking contest at my house. And I'm still working out some of the details, but I know a couple of things for sure. The first is Raina's going to grow up making amazing memories with her friends about her neighborhood and about her community. And the second thing is, no matter how many people show up, we're all getting pie. So thank you.
Keep it going for Matty. Yes.